Hey, welcome to another episode of Theological Pipe. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good weekend. Was really excited about starting the podcast and was going to be positive today and give good news and talk about hope. And I think there is good news. And then I just got bummed out before I started recording. Not a big deal. No, I guess it is a big deal. And it may not be true just because you read it on the internet. I always tease that if it's on the internet, it has to be true. But was going through Twitter before I got on here and read that the NFL is going to give $250 million to Black Lives Matter. And I separate the two. I separate the phrase with the organization, and I think that that's what people should do. And I think a lot of people are becoming aware of the fact that Black Lives Matter as an organization is really not a good organization. They have some really crazy beliefs, and take aside the part about America. You don't like America. Okay, I do, and we could talk about that another time. But some of the beliefs that they have on their website, you can go read it. You just read their about section on the Black Lives Matter. They talk about defunding the police. Which I know some people try to say, well, it just means diverting money to other areas, and I get it, but they really mean abolish the police. And you say, where do you get that from? From their founders, from the people that are on the news. They go on these TV shows and they say, hey, we want to abolish the police. And I just think that's just silly, and that's not even worthy of a discussion. Are there bad police officers? Absolutely. There are bad teachers. There are bad accountants. There are bad lawyers. There are bad doctors. There are bad everything. Go anywhere, you're going to find bad people. But to just say, well, since there's a few bad ones, should we defund teachers? Should we defund, college professors? Absolutely not. We should figure out ways to make them better and get rid of ones that don't work. And so just the defunding the police is ridiculous. They are anti-family, which blows my mind. Again, I don't even think it warrants a discussion. I don't think we should even get into debates about some of the things. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. And so that being said, for the NFL to come out, they already have problems. A lot of their fan base is upset. I think that if they had a good commissioner and a lot of good people with like leadership skills, they could have really, from the beginning with Colin Kaepernick, made this a better situation, but they've just ruined it, and they continue to ruin it. And if it's true that they're going to give $250 million to Black Lives Matter, the organization, they've just alienated even more people. Again, an organization that is Marxist, anti-American, wants to abolish the police, is anti-family, and there's other things. You can go read it on their website, and their founders say this. This is not some conspiracy theory that people are putting out there. This is on their website, and so. Again, I want to get into hope. I don't want to bring myself down, because I'm not one of those people who boycotts things just because of someone's political beliefs. I'll go see someone's movie. I don't care what their politics are. If their movies, I go watch the Mission Impossible movies with Tom Cruise. He's a nut, right? I don't care. His movies are cool. I'll go watch Robert De Niro. Be a gangster. I don't care what his politics are. Alec Baldwin's funny. I like him. I think he's good. I'll go watch his. I don't care. I don't care what his politics are. Clint Eastwood. I don't care what his politics are. Does he make good movies? Yes, I'm going to go watch them. And I think that's the way it should be. We shouldn't cancel people based on their politics. But I think the NFL's really going to step in it here if this is true, and if the report gets out. And you're going to have tons of people that are going to talk about it and crucify them for it. And again, then they're going to have to play damage control when again, if an adult would have been in the room and said, listen, we're going to donate money to help disadvantaged kids, or we're going to donate money to help bring up areas that need to be solidified and help different people. Man, that's great. People will be all about that. But to do what they're doing with $250 million, and it's probably over a period of years is my guess, but that's still a lot of money, and it's a lot of money to a group that is anti-American, Marxist, anti-family, anti-police, and I just think that's a mistake. And and I hate to start off because again, me and my wife were talking today, and had a good day, and things were got to work. I'm blessed that I still have a job, and went fishing, caught a couple fish. Like, hey, I'll do a podcast, and instead of talking about the coronavirus and how scary it is, and let's talk about the good things. And I think that's what I'm still going to do that. But if you haven't seen the news, man, go do research, and maybe I'm wrong. And again, I hope I am, or I hope it was a premature report, and somebody comes to their senses and says we need to stop this. But good news is good news, right? I mean, we all need good news in this day and age, and what we're living with politics permeating everything, which just causes division no matter what. We're still living with coronavirus, although I will say there is some good news when it comes to the virus, and I'm always looking for the good news. I'm always looking at the positive news, or trying to, because I get tired of the bad news, and we hear bad news all the time. Cases have been increasing over the past few weeks to a month, in a lot of states. But there's good news that, yes, the cases were increasing, but in some of the states where they were going way up, Arizona, Florida, Texas, etc., over the past few days, the number has actually gone down, which is a good thing. And I even kind of try to take the stance that just because the cases are going up doesn't necessarily mean that the virus is more potent or is affecting more people. It could mean that they're just increasing testing, and they have. That we've increased testing in a lot of states. So even though the numbers were going up, they seem to be going down. Let's hope that stays true. And then the death rates, even with the increase that we've seen nationwide and in different states, the deaths and the death rates have stayed relatively the same, and that's great news. I mean, that's what's important. People are going to get sick, but if people aren't dying from it anymore, or if the rate is staying the same, man, that's really good news. In fact, if you go to the CDC's website, the death rate for COVID has declined for 12 straight weeks. You probably hadn't heard that, but it's on the CDC website. For 12 straight weeks, the death rate for COVID has declined. That's good news, right? That's 3 months that the death rate has gone down, which again hopefully means the virus is getting less potent. We're getting better at fighting it with drugs and treatments, or just people aren't dying from it anymore, and that's good news, and that's something to hold on to, is the fact that all these things are happening, and I think that's good news. One of the concerns I have, and again I'm going to get off my good news hope roller coaster here. I'm gonna take it. We were down, then we'll go up, then we'll go down. One of the things that I don't like in the media, and I don't like when people talk about this, is it seems like, depending on your politics, is what you focus on. If you are a Republican Trump guy, you're looking at the good news because you want things to get better, because you want him to be reelected, and you want the economy to get better, and so all good news is good news. If you're a Democrat and you don't like Trump, man, you want the news kind of not to get good. You want it to stay bad because you don't want him reelected, and every negative thing that goes on with Trump is a thing, is a mark against him, is a knock against him, and he's got plenty of knocks against him. But it just seems like whatever party you're at or wherever you're at politically, that's how you want the coverage to be. And I want it all. I want the good news and the bad news. I'm going to focus on the good news, not because I care about who's elected president. I'm going to do the same thing the day after the election that I do every election. I'm going to pray for the president, whoever it is, and then I'm going to go out and do my job and hang out with my wife and talk to my kids and not let it affect me as best I can. I just think it's funny. I can ask this question. If tomorrow all COVID cases and deaths would be gone, but it would guarantee Donald Trump's reelection, I wonder how many people can say I would take that. Unfortunately, because I'm on Twitter, which is a cesspool of junk, and I'm on social media, I would venture to say there are quite a few people that would say, no, it's for the greater good. I'd rather the virus run its course, and we'd still have deaths, and we'd still have issues, so we can attack Donald Trump on the issue, and hopefully he doesn't get reelected. And again, politics aside, I don't want to say I'm I'm what do you call it, apolitical. I follow politics, and it's interesting at times, but I just think that they're just dividing us, the politicians and the media, and so I'm going to focus on the good news and not worry about that. I want the virus to go away. I want people not to die. I want things to get back to normal, and I'm excited about some things here in the next few weeks that are going to get us, or at least get me, and I'm kidding, it's not just about me, but I think that we'll get some of the country back to a sense of normalcy. I've said on a couple podcasts before that man, thank God for the UFC and Dana White, who's done a really good job of holding fight nights and pay-per-views and different things every week. He has the Fight Island, and it's just good to watch live sports. It's a little different without the fans, but it's still sports and it's still live. We've had some soccer matches going on, but this Thursday is a momentous day as far as I'm concerned, because we've been without sports since March. I can remember the NBA basically canceling the Thunder, Oklahoma City Thunder, a team I follow, were getting ready to start a game, and they canceled it because of COVID, and then within, I think, a day, the whole season was canceled, and then other sports followed suit. But this Thursday, Major League Baseball starts. I'm extremely excited about that. You can see I'm wearing my Mets hat, and let's go Mets. They have the Rookie of the Year, Pete Alonso, coming back. They have the best pitcher in baseball, and I don't think it's even close. I know there are some people that have had good seasons, but Jacob deGrom's the man. So I'm ready for baseball. I'm ready for baseball to start. And then July 30th, the NBA starts. And again, I'm not going to focus on some of the problems that I have with the way they act with China. We'll talk about that another day. And man, China's doing some really nutsy things with the Uyghurs. Uighur. I mean, they're taking them to concentration camps. I'm not getting down. We'll talk about that another day. Sorry. But man, the NBA starts July 30th, and then on August 1st, the National Hockey League starts. And so for NBA, I'm going to follow the Thunder. Live in Oklahoma. I was a Knicks fan for a while. Was born in New York, but the Knicks organization is a joke. And until they get better, there's no reason to even root for them. They just have been horrible for a long time. And NHL, I'm a Islanders fan, have been for a long time. But I just think within a couple of weeks, starting Thursday, within a couple weeks, 3 of the major sports are going to be back in action. And that'll give us other things to focus on, other things to think about. And my hope, again, I'm hoping for good things, is that once the season rolls around, we're going to focus on sports. I hope sports, takes a page out of some of these people who aren't bowing down to the cancel culture, who aren't bowing down to threats, and they just focus on what they do best, which sports brings us together. Don't become part of that woke culture. It separates us, and we don't need to do that. We can use the idea of sports that brings people together to bring us together racially and ethnically and class-wise and everything. Sports can bring us together. So, man, Thursday and then July 30th and August 1st, we have baseball, basketball, and hockey all starting, and that's exciting to me because sports brings people together, and I'm looking forward to that coming pretty soon. And again, I'm hoping the Mets. It's a shortened season. I think it's 60 games for baseball, shortened for NBA, shortened for hockey. But I'm excited that we're going to have that. And my hope is that college football, the NFL will be starting again a few months after that. And my hope is that college football is smart and looks at the data, not just the cases, but the death rate. Again, I hope it stays low. There's good news with vaccines coming. And so college football, I want that to come in line here pretty soon. I think that'll start like August, September. And that's going to be exciting. So I hope that happens. Could you imagine how exciting it will be for all those sports to be happening at the same time? And I think it'll just give us more things to focus on than all the bad news. Not saying we need to ignore the bad news, but sometimes focusing on good things, even if they're little things, can help us. If you look at any of the major religions and their texts and their beliefs, hope is something that drives every single one of them. Hope that things are going to get better, hope that there's better days ahead. That's something that's true in every major religion, and for most of the major Western religions, and for the Eastern religions. You have hope. You hope that things are going to get better. You work for things to get better, and that's what we need to focus on, I think, over the next few months as we move forward. And again, it doesn't look like things will calm down even if the virus goes away, because we still have the political season coming up and the way they're trying to divide things. But I'm hoping for better days. I'm hoping for good things to happen. Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31 in the Old Testament, it says, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength." And again, that theme is not just a Christian or a Jewish idea. It's a theme that goes through Muslim, the Muslim religion and Buddhist religion and Hindu religion and stuff, that hope is a good thing. It could be the best of things, as the way Andy Dufresne said in Shawshank Redemption. Man, hope is a good thing. And so, yeah, you're going to turn on the news, and of course the media is going to lead with bad news, because the saying is, if it bleeds, it leads. They don't want to, come on and say, hey, a puppy dog was rescued by a fireman, or a policeman performed CPR on a baby that was in a car seat, and they took him out and did it on the hood of the car. You could look at that. That happened just a little bit ago. A police officer saved the life of a baby on the hood of the car by giving it CPR. But they don't. You probably never even saw that. They're not going to lead with that. They're going to lead with division and destruction and death and all these horrible things, and they're going to frame it to fit an agenda. Don't let them do that to you. Go find the good news. Go find that the death rate has declined for 12 straight weeks. Go find that the number of deaths has stayed relatively straight, even though cases have gone up. Those are good things, small things, but still good. Go look at the fact that Major League Baseball is starting in a couple days. Go look at the fact that within a few weeks we're going to have 3 major sports starting, and keep the faith, keep hope alive. Go and understand that we're going to get through this. And another tenet of most religions is you're going to go through trials and tribulations in life. You're going to go through tough times. But when you do, when you get through them, at the other end is good. At the other end, there's better days ahead. And that's something that, again, that I believe and that we all believe. So, keep struggling through this. Keep going through it. Keep fighting through it. I've said that a few times to some people who were struggling with things. I've done some counseling and done some ministries where it was recovery, and people had said, man, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling with, you pick the issue, you pick the addiction, you pick the thing that they're struggling with. Man, I'm really struggling. And I would always say, struggle is a good thing. It's good to struggle. The dangerous part is when you give up, right? If you're not struggling, well, then you've just accepted what's going on. And I don't know about you, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, even though I've struggled through this coronavirus and through all the stuff that's going on, I suffer from anxiety. I suffer from depression. I suffer from those things. And it's been tough at times, but I'm hopefully always going to continue to fight and struggle through it, because when you don't struggle, you basically have given up. And I don't think we need to give up. I think we need to keep struggling. I think we need to keep fighting and pressing on and pressing forward. And we're going to get through this. And when we do, the people that get through this, man, you're going to be smarter. You're going to be wiser. Maybe you'll be kinder. Hopefully you'll look at things a little bit differently. Hopefully you'll respect each other more. You won't take things for granted that you've took for granted before. And maybe that's a good way to end this. That's something to put in a theological pipe and smoke it, man. There's hope. There's good things coming. And so put it in your pipe, put it in your theological pipe, smoke it. And as always, man, be nice to each other. Say this every time, and I think I'm going to keep saying it, even though it's cliche and even though it gets, he's saying again, be nice. Be nice to people. You don't know what being nice to people does for people, man. A smile, a good word, a text message or something, man, be nice. So put that in your theological pipe and be nice. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.